Now, we already did an overview for publications that relate to religious context. You know, the three main topics of Himalayan art, or the three main doorways or entrance points, are art history, iconography, and religious context. And in terms of religious context, then I mentioned that there are many, many books, and it's very easy for individuals just to choose what they prefer as foundational texts to help them with the religious context side of understanding the art. Now, for many of you, you may not even be interested in the religious context, and that's fine, because Himalayan art is completely approachable purely from art history and iconography, aesthetics, regions, and styles. But some people are interested also in the religious context. So I mentioned that there's, from my point of view only, there are three essential books that I think, because I think they're the easiest for students to acquire, the easiest to read, and the most authoritative. And the first is The Tree of Enlightenment by Peter Della Santina. The second we are going to talk about. The third is Buddhist Civilization in Tibet by Tulku Thondup. And the one we're going to talk about now is The Small Golden Key by Tinley Norbu Rinpoche. Now, you have to be a little bit careful with the contents. I'm going to show the contents, but the contents are a little bit misleading. The contents really are broken up into 20 different chapters, talks about early Buddhism, and then it really focuses on the Nyingma lineage, and then Buddhism in Tibet, and then the different types of Nyingma, and then it goes on to briefly talk about differences between the different traditions of Buddhism. It's a little misleading because within the first 3, 4, 5 chapters, Tinley Norbu Rinpoche actually gives a very brief synopsis of all the major traditions of Tibet, and it's very good, it's very concise. I might take issue with 1 or 2 points, not a big deal, but it is an excellent introduction and overview into understanding the different ways that the paintings and sculpture are also cataloged and categorized in the different collections, museum collections, private collections, and also in monastery collections and temple collections around the world. Then Tinley Norbu goes on in, really it's in chapter 15, where he talks about abstract concepts, but with these abstract concepts he's talking about peaceful deities and wrathful deities, and then he's talking about how they appear, and he's talking about the descriptive elements, and then he's talking about the meanings of those. So he's really getting into iconography, and then the abstract meanings, or the mnemonic meanings and symbolism for the one face or 3 faces or 6 arms, or the peaceful ornaments, and then the wrathful ornaments that the deities might wear. So then he goes into detail on this. So the book is really a wonderful introduction, good information, authoritative teacher, well respected, and the book is clear and it makes sense. You know, because not all books make sense. I mean, at some point in your life, you really have to accept that fact. Sometimes the books don't make sense, and it's not your fault. It's actually the book's fault. So, press the subscribe. You can press the like button. You can also join HAR on Patreon and help us to support the work that we do.